Let me offer my personal congratulations to Governor Rauner. My pledge to the governor is to work professionally and cooperatively with Mr. Rauner on the issues facing the people of the state of Illinois and the government of the state. Let me offer my personal congratulations to Representative Durkin and to the other House Republicans upon your election to the House and also upon the election of Governor Rauner. I and the House Democrats wish to welcome you back to the active participation in state government. As you know, in recent years, budgets have been adopted with Democratic votes only. And these have been budgets which have provided for the payment of old bills and for the full payment of pension payments. And these budgets were adopted without any Republican votes. Now, with the loss of revenue caused by the expiration of the Illinois income tax increase, there will be many difficult roll calls up ahead. And we Democrats are very anxious to work together on those tough roll calls. Right, everybody? The first and the number one issue facing Illinois and the legislature will be the deficits in the current budget and in the next two. It's estimated that the deficit for the next budget, the one that begins July 1 of this year, will be $5.7 billion. And that the deficit for the budget after that will be $5.8 billion. And so as we begin our work and we look forward to budget making over the next 2.5 years, we're contemplating at a minimum a deficit in excess of $10 billion. As we work to eliminate these budget deficits, House Democrats will be committed to protecting working men and women of middle-class families, those men and women who want to work but can't get a job, those who are single with children and find it difficult to balance a job with raising children. As we work to eliminate these budget deficits, I think we can all agree that for certain we must protect education. Education beginning with birth through 5 initiatives. Then through grammar school and high school, where we should work for more parental involvement. And we should work among the students to provide more respect for the teachers. Next, worker training and retraining at the community colleges. And finally, higher education, where we should work to make a college education affordable. Affordable not just for some, but for all students. As we prepare these budgets, we should provide for a capital construction program to improve the infrastructure, to build and maintain roads and bridges, to improve and maintain mass transit. All of these activities will provide good paying jobs for Illinoisans at a time when Illinois needs more jobs held by people who will then pay taxes to the state of Illinois. In preparing these remarks, I had a recurring thought which kept coming back to me from time to time as I prepared these remarks. The thought became a word. The word is security. Security. We all want to be secure. We all want to be secure in the hope that we can get and keep a job in order to pay our bills, to make a mortgage payment, to make a tuition payment, provide for our elderly in the twilight of their lives. We all want to be secure against violence. Violence in the homes, violence in our schools, violence in our workplaces, violence in the general community. With this in mind, I would like to talk about a recently released mental health report. The report was issued by the Office of the Child Advocate of the state of Connecticut. The report was just issued in November of 2014. The report is concerned with Adam Lanza. Lanza was the 20-year-old gunman involved in the Sandy Hook school shooting. The report indicates some real problems within the mental health and educational systems in terms of identifying mental problems that Lanza had as he moved through school. There were several missed opportunities to help Lanza. Additional intervention might have helped. Since December of 2012, a little over 2 years ago, when Sandy Hook happened, there have been far too many discharges of weapons in schools all across America. And obviously, these weapons were not being held by law enforcement at the time of discharge. We should do all that we can to prevent kids like Lanza from falling through the cracks. And therefore, I plan to work with Representative Durkin to create a bipartisan task force to work with mental health professionals to study this report and then to tell us how we might be able to prevent a Sandy Hook in Illinois. The Democratic co-chair will be Representative Greg Harris, and the Democratic vice co-chair will be Representative Robin Gable. This time, the chair recognizes Representative Durkin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations. My name is Jim Durkin. I am the state representative and also minority leader from the 82nd District in the western suburbs of Cook County. I reside in Western Springs, there with my family. And joining me today with a number of friends, but also my family, is my wife Celeste and my daughter Caroline are up here to the left. I want to thank them for coming down here and joining us today. They've been to a number of these ceremonies in the past. This one's a little bit different, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So they've been through a lot over the years. I've been in public office in the legislature on and off for about 18 years, and that means a lot of nights away, a lot of weekends away, a lot of days away. And they supported me 100% during this in every one of these ventures that I've taken, and what I believe is advancing public service in the state of Illinois. So I want to thank them for their love and their support. And I love you both too, and thank you for joining me today. In 1995, I was new to Springfield in the House of Representatives. And on my first evening in town, I was driving and got lost, turned around by all those one-way streets. Probably got a hint where I'm going with this right now, okay? All right. Since then, nothing has really changed. Those of you who know me can attest that at times I get turned around, confused, etc. I think we can say that with pretty good cause here. But that night I found myself parking in a parking garage where I ran into a very nice couple. I rolled down my window as I was lost, and I asked the gentleman for directions to the state capitol building. It was a little bit awkward since at the time I didn't realize it. I was about 2 blocks away from the Capitol building. But with a smile on his face, he gave me a very colorful answer, one that I cannot repeat in public nor at this ceremony. So when my colleague and good friend, Representative Ray Poe, returns to the chamber, please ask him what he said to me on that night. Now, just as a little side note, Ray Poe is not with us today. He's fighting some illness. He's in Texas being treated, recuperating. But I just want you to know that he will be sworn in this afternoon by a member of the Circuit Court in Texas as a state representative in the 99th General Assembly. He's doing well. I spoke to him. He's recuperating. He will be back with us sometime this spring. And Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing for that accommodation for Representative Poe to be sworn in out of state. Thank you so much. One-way streets seem to be the grid on which Springfield was designed. In the past, one-way seemed to carry the day in the Capitol. Having served in this body off and on for almost 18 years, I still get frustrated and confused by the one-way streets, and over the years by the one-party, one-way approach to solving our most pressing issues. But voters said with the November election that they no longer want state government to move in one direction or one way. This November, the voters of Illinois broke up the monopoly that existed in state government for the past 12 years. It is no secret that Illinois is suffering from the highest unemployment in the Midwest, a net population loss of nearly 95,000 Illinoisans in 2014 alone, and nearly non-existent job creation. But with the election of Bruce Rauner, Illinois citizens have said they are ready to go in a dramatically different direction to make our state strong and prosperous again. Just watch the TV shows on late night and hear the jokes about Illinois. We've all heard them, folks, and I'm sick of them, and I hope you are as well. We need to get past that. But rather than being the laughingstock of these late-night talk shows, Illinois should be featured in the Wall Street Journal and other business publications with stories about how we are and will lead the nation in job creation and growing our economy. If we work with Governor Rauner and his administration, and I believe we will, the 99th Illinois General Assembly will be historic, where we will accomplish great things. As all of you know, the issues facing our state are profound. They're deep, and they are real. But they're not Republican, nor are they Democrat. So starting today, let's demonstrate to the people of Illinois that we can work together. Let's demonstrate through the actions in our chamber that we can implement changes that Illinoisans are so desperately seeking. I started in this position a little more than a year ago. And Mr. Speaker, we're able to work together and pass legislation which has been daunting for many, many years. That is reforming our public pension systems, the Chicago pension systems. That's just a few to name. Those moments were not easy, but we accomplished our goal. And I believe we will continue with that sense of cooperation that we demonstrated this past year. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. I can speak for all of us when I say that we must provide the foundation for generations to come to pursue the American dream in this prairie state, the land of Lincoln. We certainly have our work cut out from us, but I know that if we work together, we have the ability to put our state back on the path to prosperity and success. At this time, I would like to introduce to you members of my leadership team. They're wonderful people, and I think I just want to give a little bit of a side note about each one of them. Deputy leaders, Patty Bellock of Hinsdale. Patty has been a dear friend of mine for a number of years, but for those of you who don't know Patty, she is becoming national expert on human services and Medicaid reform. She provides a valuable service not only to our caucus, but also to the chamber and also to the state of Illinois. So Patty, thank you and congratulations. Representative David Leach of Peoria. David has served under 6 governors, but those of you, if you get to know David, he is truly the Dean of the House of Representatives. Think about him in the experiences that he has had, the institutional knowledge that he has gained over these years with these governors, many different speakers and presidents of the Senate. It's just an absolute delight, but he's a great resource for us. And for new members of the General Assembly, I would talk to David. Talk to him about the way that this building works, the way that this chamber works, and I think that you will be better for it. But don't miss that opportunity because he's an absolute gem and you should get to know him. As I said, he's willing to talk to you and he wants to give you his perspective on how things operate in this capital. It'll be worth your while. Dan Brady, Bloomington. Dan, thank you. Dan is a fierce advocate for his constituents. All of us know that year in and year out. But also on a side note, he's an undertaker on the side. But anyway, you guys know that those guys have quite a sense of humor. So get to know Dan. It's a little dry at times, but I think it comes with the job. Chad Hayes. Chad Hayes from Danville. Chad is one of our assistant leaders. He's a hospital executive. He has his healthcare experience. He's been fantastic on these major difficult issues that we have with our Medicaid system and also healthcare delivery in Illinois. He also is a member, he's from Danville. He's also a member of a group called the Boat Drink Caucus, which I will talk a little bit about in a few seconds, a little bit more. I also want to mention Bill Mitchell, who gave a wonderful speech earlier. Bill is from Forsyth, Illinois, gateway to Decatur, I think that's what we refer to it as. But what I like about Bill is Bill has just been a personal friend for so many years, but his knowledge of state government is truly remarkable. And he has, day in and day out, provided me with just fantastic advice on how our votes should go and what we should be looking at with each one of these votes, as we have to look at the regional perspectives, the regional sensitivities we have on any vote. I live in the western suburbs of Illinois, and the fact is it's a little bit different in Western Springs than it is in Taylorville, and the fact is, or in Danville and Decatur. I've got great friends over here who are able to give me their perspective on how any one particular issue is going to play in their district. And that's very important in this position, is to understand the regional sensitivities that come up on a daily basis before the legislature. Representative Ed Sullivan, he's an assistant leader. He's from Mundelein. Thank you, Ed. Ed's our newest member of our leadership team. Ed he's an expert on taxes and local government, and he truly is a champion for local government. Keep up the great work, Ed. Thank you so much. Michael Tryon. He's also an assistant leader. He is from Crystal Lake. Mike is a former county chair of McHenry County. He is truly a champion of local government and gives us, as Ed does, perspectives on the types of implications when we pass legislation, how it is going to affect their ability to run government at that level. We hear about unfunded mandates all the time that are being delivered to local governments. We have true champions of local government in our caucus, as the Democrats do, who give us that advice and give us the common sense type of response of how is this going to affect their county, how is this going to affect their township, how is this going to affect their municipality. So thank you, gentlemen. We have a few more positions, but that's information. We will be releasing those names in the near future. But I made a little mention of this Boat Drink Caucus. Now, both Chad and Mike are musicians, and they performed at the inaugural concert 2 nights ago, sharing the stage with Buddy Guy and Toby Keith. But we need to remind them that you should not let the celebrity of the moment get too far. For example, let me just go back in history a little bit. There was a little quartet that was called Van Halen back in the early 80s and 1990s. Mr. Speaker, you might be familiar with them. But they were a band that were wildly successful, extremely popular. But they allowed the celebrity of the moment to lead them astray on many levels. And I'll give you one example. So, in one of their contractual provisions is that they would like to have M&Ms delivered backstage for the band, but no green M&Ms. So, my advice to Mike and Chad is do not let the celebrity of the moment lead you astray. Friends, if you are in their offices this year, Keep an eye on the candy dishes in their office. And if necessary, remind them of where they came from and where they still are. So that's our humor for the moment. So anyway, to the family and friends that are joining us here today for this magnificent ceremony, I hope that you are proud of us for taking on this extremely noble cause of serving in the Illinois House of Representatives. The sacrifices you have made for the men and women on this stage today, I believe, have been validated. Each one of us represents approximately 108,000 Illinoisans. We serve nearly 13 million residents. Just think about that. And folks in this stage, don't lose track of this awesome responsibility that we have for that 108,000 Illinoisans who rely upon us for good government, watching their back when we're in Springfield. It's very important. We just took our oath of office. It is truly meaningful because it does have meaning. It is powerful. And my friends, remember that moment when we took that oath of office just a little bit earlier. And for the new members, just remember, during difficult times, reflect on that moment, exactly what you attested to. As I said, it's powerful and it's inspirational. To the new freshman representatives, my advice to you is simple. Do what you're told. I'm just kidding. My advice to you, be true to your oath, be responsive to your constituents, and lastly, and most importantly, follow your heart. We have a very large freshman class today, and approximately 1/4, 25% of the House Republican Caucus are made up of freshman members. And if they wouldn't mind standing, and so you can see who our new members are, I would appreciate it. So if our freshman members stand up. Welcome. And lastly, I just want to state to my friends on the stage today, if your parents are here, give them a hug, thank them afterwards. You never want to miss that moment. But folks, I tell you, this has just been an amazing journey for me this past year and a half. I take this job very serious because I love my state. And as Bill Mitchell told me earlier, I had wonderful parents who provided for me and my 7 brothers the opportunity to pursue the American dream in the state of Illinois. We have that obligation, we have that responsibility, and I know we can do that for them. Thank you, God bless Illinois, and God bless America.
At this time, I would like to announce the members of the Democratic leadership team. I'm not going to give their backgrounds as Mr. Durkin did because they all speak for themselves and they do very, very well. The majority leader will be Representative Barbara Flynn Curry. The deputy majority leaders will be Representative Lou Lang. Representative Frank Martino. The assistant majority leaders will be Representative Edward Acevedo, Representative Dan Burke, Representative Sarah Feigenholz, Representative Al Riley, Representative Arthur Turner, Representative Jahan Gordon Booth. There will be 2 non-compensated assistant majority leaders, Representative John Bradley and Representative Elaine Neckritz. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do some perfunctory business, which means that we're going to be moving along very quickly. And we don't normally do things like this, but just bear with us. So the next order of business is the election of the chief clerk, the assistant clerk, and the doorkeeper for the 99th General Assembly. The lady from Cook, Representative Curry, is moved, is recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. I move for the suspension of all applicable House rules so that we can give immediate consideration to adoption of House Resolutions 1, 2, and 3.
You've all heard the lady's motion. All in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted.
Good work.
The lady from Cook, Representative Curry.
Thank you, Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Resolution 1. This is a resolution for the election of Timothy D. Mapes as Chief Clerk, Bradley S. Bolin as Assistant Clerk, and Lee A. Crawford as Doorkeeper.
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Resolution 1, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 99th General Assembly of the State of Illinois that the following officers are hereby elected for the term of the 99th General Assembly. Timothy D. Mapes as Chief Clerk of the House, Bradley S. Bolin as Assistant Clerk of the House, Lee Crawford as Doorkeeper of the House.
The lady has moved the adoption of House Resolution 1. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed by saying nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Pursuant to House Resolution 1, the chair declares Timothy D. Mapes elected as the Chief Clerk of the House for the 99th General Assembly. Bradley S. Bolin is declared elected as the Assistant Clerk of the House for the 99th General Assembly. Lee A. Crawford is declared elected as the Doorkeeper of the House for the 99th General Assembly. Do these gentlemen accept the offices to which they have been elected? They're all nodding their heads, indicating that they've accepted. The lady from Cook, Representative Curry, is recognized to offer another resolution.
Thank you, Speaker. I move the adoption of House Resolution 2, which directs the clerk to inform the Senate that the House is very well organized.
The lady has moved for the adoption of House Resolution 2. This is the traditional notification to the other chamber that this body is prepared to do the people's business. The lady from Cook, Representative Curry, is recognized to offer another resolution.
Thank you, Speaker. This time I offer House Resolution 3, which would appoint a committee to attend the governor, inform him that we are organized, and await any communication he might have to offer.
The lady has moved the adoption of House Resolution 3. This is another traditional ceremonial procedure. Without objection, we can take both motions on one vote. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and House Resolutions 2 and 3 are adopted. At this time, as previously announced, I'd ask Archbishop Blaise Supich to come to the podium for the purposes of the benediction.
Lord, on this day, when oaths are taken and promises are made, we lift our voices in prayer to you, for you are ever faithful. You always keep your word. May the words our elected officials pledged this day become etched on their hearts and inspire in their minds imaginative ideas and policies as they serve and pursue the common good. May their very oath-taking remind us all of the power and blessing of keeping one's word, and of the deep desire we all have for authenticity and loyalty. Let this moment motivate all of us to be true to our word, spouses and parents who commit to each other, their families, and their children, business leaders and public servants entrusted with the goods and the well-being of others, and the citizens of this state, who this day are reminded of the social contract that binds us together. It is a solemn pledge to work together for a just society and to promote the good order which depends on, yet extends beyond, the rule of law. Lord, we come before you in this prayer, fully aware of our own failures and weaknesses in remaining true. We all live with divided hearts. We are humbled that you are faithful even when we are not, and that you are ever rich in mercy and forgiveness. And so this day, we beg you to grace in a special way our legislators with the integrity to keep their word even when others do not, with the freedom to forgive when others fail them, and the courage to believe that the truth always sets us free. Lord, on this day, when oaths are taken and promises are made, we lift our voices in prayer to you. For you are ever faithful. You always keep your word. Amen.
If you could remain standing, we are prepared to adjourn. Let me first congratulate all the members of the House upon their election and their assumption of office. Let me thank all of our guests for joining us today. If any of you plan to visit the Capitol building, the House chamber will be open to all. And so you'll have an opportunity to walk through the chamber and to view firsthand the beauty of the House chamber. Now we're going to be led by Star Winham singing America the Beautiful. Let me simply say before she begins to all of you, God bless all of you and God bless America. We thank Representative Monique Davis for bringing Star to join us today. Representative Curry moves that the House stand adjourned until Thursday, January 15 at the hour of 9 a.m., allowing perfunctory time for the clerk. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The House stands adjourned until Thursday, January 15, 9 a.m., providing perfunctory time for the clerk. Thank you again.